The African Cup of Nations has just started, and according to Opta, a UK sports analytics firm, Senegal are favourites to win it with a 12.8% chance. Just behind them are the Ivory Coast with a 12.1% chance, and then we have Morocco with an 11.1% chance. So today I want to do my own analysis by simulating AFCON 100 times in Football Manager. So I've got all the correct teams in the correct groups, and now I have the mind-numbingly boring job of simulating the tournament, typing up the results in a spreadsheet, and repeating it another 99 times. This basically took all day, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for going to all that effort. Let's go through the first simulation together. So in Group A, Ivory Coast and Nigeria qualify. No shocks there. In Group B, Egypt win all 3 games, Cape Verde come in second, and Mozambique also qualify. AFCON has 24 teams, like the European Championships. So to have 16 teams in the second round, the 4 best third place teams from the group stage also qualify, just like in the European Championships. So in Group C, we also have 3 teams qualifying in reigning champion Senegal, hence why their name is at the top as title holders, Cameroon and Guinea. Group D sees Algeria, Burkina Faso and Angola qualify for the next stage. And in Group E, there's a strong showing from Mali, who beat out Tunisia and South Africa, but Namibia finish on 0 points and a -8 goal difference, meaning they had the worst performance in this simulation of the African Cup of Nations. And finally, in Group F, Morocco and the Democratic Republic of Congo qualify. Tanzania just miss out with their -4 goal difference, and the 2012 champions Zambia finish bottom of the group. In the round of 16, there are a few shocks as DR Congo knock out Opta's second favourite Ivory Coast, and Burkina Faso lose heavily to Mozambique. In the quarters, Egypt lose out in a tough game against Nigeria, but Mozambique continue to defy the odds by beating Cameroon. But they can't beat Morocco, who reach the final to play Senegal, but thanks to 2 goals in the 90th minute, Senegal lift the African Cup of Nations for the second time in a row. This final is actually pretty telling for the rest of the simulations, as these 2 teams faced off against each other in 9 finals, more than any other combination. Senegal played the Ivory Coast 8 times, and the Ivory Coast played Morocco 6 times in the final. But we're not just tracking the teams that go to the final, we're also tracking a few key stats. So in Simulation 1, the tournament's top scorer was Algeria and Rennes' Amin Gouiri with 7 goals. Hakim Ziyech got the most assists with 5, and Senegal's Edouard Mendy kept 5 clean sheets. So as we keep simulating, I'll keep you up to date with different records. In Simulation 12, Senegal have won another tournament, but the top scorer is Senegal's Boulaye Dia with a monumental 13 goals, demolishing the current record of 9 goals in a tournament set by Undai Malamba for Zaire, now known as the Democratic Republic of Congo, in 1974. But he doesn't do that just once. In Simulation 86, he also has a 13-goal tournament, but he did it in less games, as Senegal lost in the semi-finals to Nigeria, who went on to beat South Africa with a goal in the 100th minute of normal time. Talk about leaving it late. South Africa made 2 finals of the 100 simulations and lost them both. So I'll be honest, I hadn't actually heard of Dia before. He plays for Salernitana in Italy and has some really good attributes: 15 finishing, 14 composure and 16 pace. And you might want to sign him, because in 43 of our 100 simulations, he was the top scorer, light years ahead of Victor Osimhen and Youssef En-Nesyri, who round off the podium places. There were actually 13 occasions where 10 or more goals were scored in our 100 simulations, and Dia had 9 of them, so you may want to look out for him in your saves. In Simulation 16, we might have found a bug in Football Manager. Nigeria beat Mali 2-0 in the final, and Nigeria's keeper kept 6 clean sheets from 7 games. The most out of any keeper from across the 100 simulations. However, the game is lying. Nigeria conceded in 2 of their 7 games, meaning they only had 5 clean sheets. But the goal conceded in the semi-final was actually an own goal by the keeper Maduka Okoye. So I think the game must have some trouble processing this, because technically he scored the goal rather than conceded it. I have sent this to the Football Manager devs and they're looking into it, so we'll find out the answer pretty soon. Okoye didn't make it into our top 3 keepers of the tournament though. It'll be no surprise that Yassine Bonu was the top keeper in 22 of our 100 simulations, but I was surprised he was followed up by Algeria's Lucas Zidane and Mali's Ismail Diawara. Lucas Zidane plays for Eibar in Spain's second division, and you might think the name is quite familiar. That's because he is the son of Zinedine Zidane. He's obviously a very good keeper because when he was growing up, Zidane practiced his free kicks in the garden with Luka in goal. Ismail Diawara is the Mali goalkeeper and he plays for Malmo in Sweden. Simulation 41 is one of my favourite simulations for a couple of reasons. Hakim Ziyech's 9 assists is the highest from all of our 100 simulations. But hilariously, 5 of them came in the final as Morocco beat South Africa 8-2, the highest scoring final from all our simulations. And the best part is, South Africa opened up the scoring and it was only 2-1 at half time before all hell broke loose in the second half. Ziyech was the top assister on 6 occasions, joint with Senegal's Ismail Sarr, but behind Nigeria's Samuel Chukwueze, who topped the charts on 7 occasions. Ziyech is still a very handy player in Football Manager. Marseille's Ismail Sarr has got 18 pace, which is absolutely lethal, but to me, a 24-year-old Samuel Chukwueze at AC Milan looks the pick of the bunch. So if I had to sign one, I'd be looking to sign him. So 8-2 was the highest scoring final that we had, but my favourite final was from Simulation 57. That's because Algeria beat Senegal 5-3 in extra time, but Senegal had a 3-0 lead in the 86th minute, and then Algeria scored in the 87th, 93rd and 96th minute before going on to dominate extra time. Imagine if that happened in a real cup final, that would be absolutely historic. But from the best final to the worst final, in Simulation 60, Ivory Coast beat Mali 4-2 on penalties after a goalless 120 minutes, the only goalless final from all 100 simulations. We've also seen a few wildcards reach the finals, but in Simulation 94, Zambia managed to beat Ivory Coast 4-3 to win their second AFCON title after their first in 2012. Ivory Coast will feel completely FM there as Zambia score all 4 of their shots on target. In Simulation 100, Gambia made it all the way to the final, their only appearance of the 100 simulations, but unfortunately lost to Morocco. They actually only just snuck into the knockout stages. Their 3 points and -2 goal difference was the worst of the qualifying third place teams. But arguably they had a kind draw, as they beat Guinea-Bissau 2-1 in the round of 16, overcame DR Congo 3-2 in the quarterfinals, and then put Ghana to the sword by beating them 3-1 in the semis. Cape Verde actually made 2 finals, and lost them both. But in Simulation 79, when they lost 3-1 to Nigeria, somehow centre-back Ousmane Diomande won the top assist award. It seems to be because he got those 3 assists in 4 games and had a higher pass completion rate than Benny Mukendi, which was a deciding factor in giving him the award. Cape Verde also got to the final in Simulation 27, but had a man sent off in the 38th minute, which could have changed everything. Javain Cabral came second in the top scorer award in this simulation. As a winger with 15 dribbling, 12 crossing and 15 pace, he certainly looks pretty good. And interestingly, also plays for Salernitana like Boulaye Dia. So maybe low-key, they have an insane attack in FM24. Now, one country we haven't mentioned yet who are very high in Opta's rankings is Egypt. Of course led by Mo Salah. Well, across the 100 simulations, they made 9 finals and lost all of them. In fact, in Simulation 69, they came rock bottom of their group. They really did not have a good time. In fact, in the same simulation, Mohamed Salah retired immediately after the tournament finished. So I feel like I left you waiting long enough. Let's go over the raw numbers from data. Gambia made 1 final and lost it. South Africa and Cape Verde made 2 finals and of course lost them both. Zambia on the other hand made 2 finals but managed to win 1 of them. Poor Angola made 3 finals and lost all 3, but Tunisia had more luck winning 2 of their 3 finals. Cameroon lost 75% of the finals they made, and their win was against Mali, who won 4 and lost 4. Then we get to Egypt with their 9 final appearances and 9 losses. Ghana and DR Congo managed to win 5 each, but DR Congo made 1 more final. And then there's quite a jump to Algeria, who won 9 and lost 10. Lucas Zidane coming to the rescue on a number of occasions. Missing out on the podium is Nigeria with their 11 wins and 12 losses, but there was quite a gap from them to third place, with Morocco who won 16 of the finals they appeared in. Then we have another gap to second place, and Ivory Coast with their 22 wins. And just beating them to the top spot, of course, is Senegal, who made the final in 38% of the simulations. Comparing this to Opta's data is really interesting, because the top 3 from their predictions is the exact same as our top 3. We had Algeria in 5th, whereas Opta had them in 4th, and 6th place Nigeria was 4th place for us. Egypt is the only real big difference between our results and Opta's predictions, but I really do think Egypt should do a lot better than they did in our FM universe. Although judging by the fact they had to equalise late against Mozambique, potentially Football Manager might be onto something here. So actually, I think it's really interesting how close our results are to Opta's predictions. The Asian Cup is going on right now, and I don't yet have a video going over that tournament, but I did trap 25 of Football Manager's best wonder kids in Asia to see if they could develop and win the Club World Cup for a team based in Singapore. So to find out if they did go on to win it, the video is on screen for you to watch right now.